and him being here, and so appreciative of what he did for us last year. I think Jimmy, and we knew what move we made the year before on that. Jimmy did a hell of a job coming to camp and winning that job and taking us real close to the Super Bowl. But we have moved on to Trey. We're starting camp out this way. We think Jimmy would have been traded if the surgery didn't happen, and it did. He needed to do it, so there's no ill will there at all. But it's good to see that he is healthy. But now it's all just seeing how this will end up.
All right, Broussard, now that we know Jimmy's on his way out, where do you want to see him end up?
I don't know, Jenna. Any team that wants to win? How about that? Because we know Jimmy G wins, and that's why Shanahan's so appreciative of him, because he's 8-28 without Jimmy G and 31-14 with him. I'm going to keep saying it, Nick, because it's a fact.
I don't know.
It's not a feeling, it's a fact. All right. I'm going to have to give two answers. First, my Cleveland Browns, you guys know I lived in Cleveland. Look, it all depends on Deshaun. If Watson is suspended the entire season, go get Jimmy G. And I don't think anybody's going to trade for him because of the money, just like Baker Mayfield, who had to take a pay cut. But, yeah, Rosen's not getting it done. I think he'll be, if you guys are right, Nick, and he's released, and that's what the reports are saying, then I think Cleveland should pick him up if Watson is out the entire season. If he's only 8 games, then stick with Brissett for that. If it's 8 games for Watson, then I think the team should be the New York Giants. All right? Let's give Brian Daboll something to work with. And look, if he wants to develop Jones or at least give Daniel Jones a chance, fine. But if Jones doesn't get it done, then why not Jimmy G? All right, they got Kenny Golladay. They got some decent receivers there. You say, oh, the Giants are horrible. Guess who else was horrible before Jimmy G got there? Kyle Shanahan's San Francisco 49ers.
Oh,
it's true. They were 1-10. 1-10. I think that's horrible, Nick. I don't know what kind of math you're doing. It's horrible. So I think the Giants is my answer if Deshaun Watson is suspended the whole year.
Well, then why haven't these teams gotten him? I mean, this is insane commentary. Is $25 million too much for a good quarterback? Because that's what you're telling me he is. You're telling me he's a good quarterback while all he does is win. So why don't the Steelers, who made the playoffs last year with the sarcophagus of Ben Roethlisberger, why not him? Why not Miami, who's ready to win right now and tried to add Tom Brady? Why not pick the team or the bad teams? Why hasn't Seattle gone out and gotten him? Or Atlanta, who's starting Marcus Mariota? The answer is because the whole league knows Drew's silly graphic and the nonsense about Shanahan's record with and without him is wildly misleading. So, Wild, you want to know where I think Jimmy Garoppolo should go? Where Jimmy Garoppolo could add real value? Cincinnati, the Chargers, the Rams, teams that have established starting quarterbacks so Jimmy can do what he is in this league. Be a ready backup. That's what Jimmy Garoppolo is. A ready backup who has been in amazing situations. And so that's where he should go. And by the way, folks, that's what might end up happening here. Where a team that has Super Bowl aspirations but does not want, if their quarterback has to miss a month for their whole season to be derailed, to have a guy who has experience as a starter come in. The league, Brew just said a moment ago, as Nick thinks is going to happen, that he's going to be released. It's not about what Nick thinks. It's about what is being reported and what the evidence that we have. Nobody wants him. But you guys act like, well, Jimmy Garoppolo's not, it's like an NBA player who signed a contract recently, like not eligible to be traded until December 15th. He's been eligible to be traded all offseason, all of it, and be like, oh, he had surgery. Guys, what were they worried it was an amputation? Did they think Jimmy Garoppolo was going to have the first ever unsuccessful surgery in the NFL? No. Everybody knew he was going to come back and pass the physical. Nobody wants him. Again, Wild, you and Brew, you made this argument earlier. He's too good to be on a team. Huh? That was really what you said. You were like, well, I think San Francisco has to cut his aura because he has such a magnetic aura.
Nick, will you at least admit this?
What?
Will you at least admit that Jimmy G's biggest problem is injuries? We're not saying he's an all-pro. But would you at least admit his biggest problem is he's always hurt?
No,
Really?
I will not admit that. His biggest problem is in the biggest spots, he's awful. He has the worst passer rating in the fourth quarter and overtime of playoffs of any quarterback in the last 30 years. Now that's a graphic that tells you something. You know what? You know another graphic that tells you something, Wilds, and we don't have the graphic, but you can visualize it. What when the games are the biggest, what does his coach ask him to do? Nothing. Please don't. Please. Can we make it through this game with the Mac Jones and Buffalo game plan? Can you throw 8 passes? Can you just hand the ball off? Can you play wide receiver, running back, and quarterback? Like, no. So his issue is, yes, he's injury prone, and he's also not very good.
Okay. Well, first of all, the graphic of he doesn't show up in the fourth quarter and overtime of playoff games is a low-key compliment to begin with. I didn't see Justin Herbert's name on that graphic, even though I got to hear how great he is.
No, you saw T.J. Yates, Brock Osweiler, and David Garrard. Yeah. It's a low-key compliment.
I'm just telling you,
look at the other names.
The guy makes it to the playoffs and goes to the Super Bowl like, in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. I'm like, okay, I guess so. He missed the pass in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. But it's not the silver medal. LeBron gets silver medals all the time for going to the ultimate dance and then coming up short. But if Jimmy G does it, no, he's terrible, even though he got there. In any event, I will throw this back to you, Nick. If you're talking about a ready-made backup and that's who he is, because I'll buy that because I can't find a spot for him. I don't think the Raiders are going to take him. I've tried to go through places where he's familiar with the coaching staff. I don't think Patriots want him. I don't think Josh McDaniels wants him. I don't think Mike McDaniels is going to take him back in Miami. I'm not sure if Brian Daboll thing actually works. Daboll was an offensive assistant with Jimmy G in New England. Would you take him on the Chiefs then? Would you say, here's a nice guy to back up Patrick Mahomes? If you like him so much, if you think that he would be a quality backup for this would be wonderful.
Sure.
I pray to God.
Yeah, and I want Cam.
I'm actually going to.
I want Cam as the Chiefs backup because I think he could actually help them in goal line and short yardage situations. But yeah, I'd be fine with it. But this is the second day in a row you've invoked LeBron without me mentioning him, so I will walk through that door. There is one finals appearance LeBron does not get any credit for, and that's the one against the Mavs. Why? Because they lost those finals because of his performance, right? So all things are not equal. Jimmy Garoppolo's game against the Chiefs was LeBron's finals in 2011, with the exception of Jimmy didn't carry them to that point. It is more apropos the LeBron medal. Do we hold against Joe Burrow the fact that he's now 0-1 in Super Bowls? Of course not. Joe Burrow getting there was a hell of an accomplishment. And the idea that the entirety of what happened to Jimmy in that Super Bowl was that he missed one pass. He missed one pass after consecutive drives ended because his passes were missed and balls were getting batted down. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter and lost by double digits because the offense could do nothing. Why did they lose the most recent NFC Championship game? Because Jimmy he threw a pass with his eyes closed again that gets intercepted. Like, what are we talking about? We watch the games. In the biggest spots, he's been awful. What's your favorite Jimmy Garoppolo playoff moment, Brew? What is it? I know you don't like answering my questions on the air. What is it? What's your favorite Jimmy Garoppolo playoff moment?
Getting to the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
That one, okay? And I've never come on this show and said he's Aaron Rodgers. You know that. So let me ask you this. As you're throwing out questions and answering them, why, you said it was misleading, why are the 49ers 8-28 without him and 31-14 with him? Tell me that. I want to know.
So I will.
That has nothing to do with him.
I will explain that quite easily. So the 1-10 is part of the 8-28, right? That's the start. That's when Shanahan first gets there and Lynch gets there and they're stripping the roster down, and that team was terrible in the beginning of that season. The other reason is their backup quarterbacks have been CJ. And look it up. And look up what he did once. What he did, was that more about him, or is that about the defense coming together? Yeah, and regretted it instantly and traded for his replacement. Guys, I can't believe we're still arguing about this. Again, I'm not John Lynch. I didn't trade 3 first-rounders for Trey Lance. I'm not Kyle Shanahan, who came out yesterday and said hadn't seen him since the end of the year and we're done with him. I am simply the only person other than Jenna on the show who will recognize the reality, who will recognize the fact of the matter that, guys, the team that has the most information about him doesn't want him. The other teams in the league don't want him. What does that say? No one will trade for him. The Niners don't want him. What does it say? Maybe that win-loss thing has more to do with Robert Saleh, Nicky Bosa, the defense, Kyle Shanahan's offense, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and not so much to do with Mr. $5 footlong. Don't you dare put it up.
Not the 70%. No, the graphic we saw earlier. The